If you watch this video for the next 5 minutes, I'm going to teach you one trick that'll make you a better and more memorable candidate for every interview you do for the rest of your life. Let's go. Stories are memorable, and you as a candidate can absolutely use the power of storytelling to make yourself a better and more memorable candidate. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to do just that. Now, the first thing you want to do is pick out between 3 and 6 stories. Now, these are stories that you walk into an interview thinking, I want the person who might be my future boss to know that I did this. Now, these are stories that are impactful. They are highly impactful things that you've accomplished in your career, and they're things where you're like, I don't want to leave this room without them knowing I did this because it's incredibly impressive. So item 1, pick 3 to 6 of those things and identify them. Now, if you're wondering, well, Ben, what are those things? So it could be things like massive accomplishments. So maybe the most impressive thing you have did in your career. This could have been an implementation. It could have been a project. It could be times you went above and beyond and it truly mattered. Maybe it was a special project you were tasked with. Those types of things that are great stories that demonstrate a tangible impact. These are the things you were looking for. Things where you individually move the needle in some important, measurable way. Now, let's just say now you've identified 3 to 6 of these, right? You have them in mind. You're like, okay, I did this, I did this, I did this. All right, now here's what I want you to do. I actually want you to physically write or type this out so you can talk about this is what I did, and I want you to add the following details because they're really important. What you want to be able to do is tell this story in a way that they're going to be able to follow along, and they're going to go, wow, they did this. So what do those things look like? So what company and when? So where were you in your career? What were you doing? What was the role? Were there any tools you used? Was it programs, softwares, etc.? Things you used to help you complete this project. What was your actual specific role, not only just in the company, but a role in the project? So if it was a project, what were you specifically responsible and tasked for? Next, you want to know how long did it take? Was this a single day thing? Was it a 3-month project? Was it a 6-month project? I'm sure you have examples that are both of those things, but how long did it take? Was it a solo thing or were you part of a group? And if you were part of a group, what was your specific responsibility and contribution to the success of the group? Now you want to know also, what was the biggest lesson learned? If there was one thing you could change, what would you change? Was there an aha moment or a place where it all clicked or the place where, okay, we're going to accomplish this? And then this is huge. What was the impact, right? So if it was a project where you know that the success of it meant your company was going to save blank amount of dollars over blank amount of time, that is incredibly powerful. If you can quantify the impact of a story, it is just going to make that story so much more impactful and memorable, and it's going to make it real for the person who's listening. Hey, are you liking this video? Because if you like this video, do me a favor, hit that like button. Likes are free and they tell YouTube that I don't suck. Now you need to practice telling these stories, right? So you have these 3 to 6 stories, you've gone through and you familiarized yourself with it, you've actually typed them out and you go, okay, these are stories I want my future potential boss to know about me. Practice telling the stories. So you want to make sure they're between 60 and 120 seconds. If they're a little bit bigger than that, if it's like a super long story or is a in-depth project and you want to make it 250 seconds, or 150 seconds rather, feel free to do that, but actually time yourself. Go through, talk it through, and time yourself and make sure you're falling within that window. If it's shorter than that, you're probably not giving enough information, and if it's longer than that, then you are probably giving too much. Use the STAR method if it helps you build it out, that situation, task, action, and result. So what was the situation you were in? What was the task you needed to accomplish? What was your specific action? And then what was the outcome? Throw in an L at the end of that for lesson. What was the lesson you learned? This will help you actually tell the story. Now, one of the best things about this is you're gonna go through this exercise, you're gonna familiarize yourself with things, and you're gonna find that in the interview, when it's time to recall examples for a variety of interview questions, these are going to work, and that's kind of the whole point. These questions can help you answer a variety of interview questions, like, what's your greatest achievement? Can you tell me about a time where you had to deal with competing deadlines? Can you tell me about a time where you had to work as part of a team to accomplish a big goal? A bunch of interview questions will likely be satisfied with these 3 to 6 examples. And by writing them out, by practicing them, and being ready to share them, you're going to make yourself into a very memorable candidate who absolutely crushed some of the biggest and most important questions you're going to be asked during the interview process. Now, hey, we're not done here because you're going to crush your interview when you do this. And what's next? Well, the next thing you should do is write the perfect thank you email. Believe me, I have seen so many times in the course of my career where the biggest difference between the first place candidate and the second place candidate was actually a well-written thank you email. It matters. Go check this out.